Hi everybody, welcome to Live Blogger. In the previous video I showed you how to create the Apple hamburger menu animation. So this is how it looks. We can see that we have this hamburger menu over here, and if I click on that, we have it change into a close button. So we have this animation over here just like in the Apple website. Now in this video I'll show you how to add some menu items when we click on this menu icon. So here's the demo. Here we have this menu icon, and if I click on that, we have the menu displayed over here, and we also have the color change when we hover over these menu items. And when we click on the close button, it goes back. So this is what we're going to design in this video. Let's get started. Right, this is our source code, and the first thing we will do is we will write the HTML for all these menu items over here. So let's create a new division, and let's give it a class of menu items container. Now in this division, let's create a UL for all these menu items. So let's type UL, and in that we will have a list item, and in the list item we will have an anchor tag, and here you can add the link of your page. I'll just type hash for now. And we have about, services, blog, and contact. So let's add them over here, about, and let's copy this list item and let's paste it down 3 more times. And the second one is services, and then we have the third one, which is blog, and the last one is contact. Alright, that's it with the HTML. Now let's go to our CSS and let's start styling this. So let's go to our style.css file, and the first thing we will do is we'll just bring this menu to the top right over here. So here in the body we can see that we have set the display to flex, and we are bringing everything to the center. So let's delete all of this from here. Let's just delete this whole selector, and now here we can see it is on the left. So here in the menu container, let's set the position to absolute, and let's set the top position to, let's try 20 pixels, and let's set the right position to 40 pixels. And now the next thing we will do is we will set the box sizing to border box for this division as well, the menu items container division. So here let's add a comma. Let's type menu items container, and also menu items container and all the elements inside that. Right, now let's start styling this. So let's scroll down, and let's type menu items container, and let's set the background to 111, and let's set the position to absolute, and we'll set the top position to 80 pixels, and we'll set the right position to 40 pixels. Right, now let's style the anchor tags. So let's type menu items container A, and let's set the color of the text to white, and let's remove the underlines. So let's type text decoration and set it to none, and we'll set the font family to Roboto and sans serif, and let's set a padding of 12 pixels top and bottom and 40 pixels left and right. And here we can see that the padding is not applied to the top and bottom. That's because the anchor tags are inline elements by default. So we have to type display of inline block. Right, now we can see that the padding is applied. Let's also set the text transform to uppercase, and we'll also add a border between these elements. So let's type border of 1 pixel solid 313131, and let's set the width to 100%, and let's also set the font size to 14 pixels. Right, now let's remove the padding and margin of the UL, and we'll also remove the bullets. So let's type menu items container UL, and let's type padding 0, margin 0, and also let's remove these bullets. So let's type list style, and let's set it to none. Right, now let's add the hover effect. So when we hover over this, we need to have a slightly different color. So here let's type menu items container A : hover, and let's set the background color to 222, and let's add a transition so that we have smooth animation. Let's type transition, and let's set it to all 200 milliseconds ease. And now let's hover over this, and we can see that we have the hover effect. Alright, now the last thing we need to do is we need to display and hide these menu items when we click on this button right here. So for that we're going to add an active class to this menu items container when we want to display it, and we'll remove the active class when we don't want to display it. So by default we will set the opacity of this menu items container to 0, and we'll also decrease the size. So let's type transform scale and let's set it to 0, and let's also add a transition and let's set it to all 700 milliseconds ease. And now let's write the styles for the active class. So let's type menu items container dot active, and here we'll just set the opacity back to 1, and we'll also set the transform scale and let's set it to 1. Right, now let's add and remove this class using JavaScript. So we need to access this menu items container division. So let's go to our main.js file and let's type const menu items container equals document.querySelector menu items container. And here we already have an event listener for the menu container. So here when we have the active class, we need to display the menu items container. So let's add an if condition and let's type menu container dot class list dot contains, and let's see whether we have the active class inside the menu container. And if we have the active class, then we will add the active class to the menu items container. So let's type menu items container dot class list dot add, and let's type active over here, and let's add an else over here, and let's type menu items container dot class list dot remove active. Right, now let's see whether this works. So let's click on this button, and we have the menu items displayed over here, and let's click on this button once again and it goes back. Now we need to bring this menu items container from this top right over here. So for that we have to set the transform origin to the top right. Right now it is going to the center when we scale it down. So let's go back to the style.css file, and here let's type transform origin and let's set it to top right. And now let's click on this, and now we can see it goes to the top right when we click on this menu icon. Now the last thing we will do is we will add a different easing function. So if I click on this original design, we can see that we have this bouncy effect over here. So for that we are using a cubic bezier. Now if you right click over here in this menu items container, and if I click on inspect, and if I click on menu items container, here we can see that we have this curve displayed over here for ease. And if I click on this curve, we can see that we have the option of modifying this. So if I just change this something like this, we have this bouncing effect. So we have to bring this curve to the top over here, then we will have the bouncing effect. Now once you're happy with that, you can just copy this code from here and you can just paste it over here instead of this ease. Now I have already calculated a cubic bezier function, so let's type cubic bezier and let's add the following values. I'll just type 0.13, 0.86, 0.11 and 1.19. You have to make sure that the last value is greater than 1. Right, now let's take it out, and here we can see we have this bouncy effect, and we can also add a little bit of transition delay. So let's type transition delay and let's set it to 100 milliseconds, and now we can see everything looks alright. So that's basically it for this video. I will leave the link of the source code in the description, and if you have any doubts you can ask in the comments below. And if you like this video, please click on the like button and subscribe to this channel to get the latest video updates. Thanks a lot for watching. Have a nice day.